Okay, today we'll be talking about The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Actually, we won't be talking about that much because there is hardly anything to say. I apologize, I know that these words are harsh given the fact that this is a worldwide bestseller, but it's the truth, you know. I've done a few book reviews up until now and at least I had something to digress over, something to talk about with the previous ones. That is not the case with this book, unfortunately. But then knowing me, this will probably end up being another 30-minute video because I will find stuff to talk about. Now, I assume that this work of art is meant to give you energy to pursue your dreams and to find your true self and so on. However, it approaches the subject in a very awkward way. First off, it's a work of fiction, which took away some of my interest at the very start. But of course that is the minor problem here. But because it's a work of fiction, I'm having a really hard time understanding the choice that the author made here. The choice as to where to set the events and what the events should be. Consider that you'll be reading about a shepherd, his sheep, journey through the desert, mildly interesting characters. Also, the words God, Arabs, Allah, war, death appear here and there. And in my opinion, those parts specifically shouldn't have been there. Now, all the fragments of the book that are meant to be awe-inspiring are in fact nothing new, nothing particularly smart. If you're reading it on your Kindle, it'll say, oh, this part has been highlighted 20,000 times, you know, or something like that. And I would read that passage and it wouldn't leave me shaken to my core, not at all. Furthermore, there's a message that gets repeated throughout the book, and it goes along the lines of, when you really want something, the whole universe conspires to help you achieve it. Which is entirely untrue, and it'll leave people with expectations and disappointment as a result. Moreover, there's a whole array of questionable things in The Alchemist. For example, there's a story about a young, beautiful boy who would kneel down at the edge of the lake every day to contemplate his own beauty, and then one day he fell into the lake and drowned. And that's pretty much it. Then the lake, which is a conscious being all of a sudden, says that it never noticed his beauty. And the message is that it only misses its own beauty, which it could see until recently reflected in the boy's eyes. Ooh, such a deep message, isn't it? Okay, now the actual book has several things in it. For instance, there's a moment when a boy predicts the invasion of troops on an oasis in the middle of the desert where he happened to stop by on his journey. And then the leader of that place says to him the following thing: if you are right, then we'll prepare and you'll receive 1 piece of gold for every 10 dead men on the enemy side. If you're wrong, we'll use a gun on you. Because arms need to be used to keep operational. Alright, can you possibly explain to me what good that story is going to teach anyone? No, you can't, because it'll only teach people the wrong things. Same with all the oh so smart realizations with God taking the lead. That is not helpful at all. I myself am agnostic, and I think that that will only cause havoc, more havoc. Any book that takes religion and doesn't speak of it as a matter of private beliefs, but instead takes it and makes it a part of the story, does the wrong thing. Now let's listen to 2 to 3 fragments from the book which I'm not a fan of. Okay, so in the book someone says this: the land was ruined and I had to find some other way to earn living. So now I'm a camel driver. But that disaster taught me to understand the word of Allah. People need not fear the unknown if they are capable of achieving what they need and want. What does that mean even, that last sentence? People need not fear the unknown if they are capable of achieving what they need and want? That doesn't make too much sense to me. And then it goes on to say, we are afraid of losing what we have, whether it's our life or our possessions and property. But this fear evaporates, magically evaporates, when we understand that our life stories and the history of the world were written by the same hand. Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of talk in here about alchemy, which I understand is a pseudoscience, and there's terms like the philosopher's stone, the elixir of life, personal legend, all sorts of things. But anyway, even if we skip all the terms, which I have no idea what they're there for, let's just focus on the next fragment. So this is a short one, but it's just terrible. It says, walking along in the silence, he had no regrets. If he died tomorrow, it would be because God was not willing to change the future. I'm gonna let you judge that one on your own. Another passage which teaches all the wrong things in my opinion, and it says, "The horseman was completely immobile, as was the boy. It didn't even occur to the boy to flee. In his heart he felt a strange sense of joy. He was about to die in pursuit of his personal legend. And for Fatima. The omens had been true after all. Here he was, face to face with his enemy, but there was no need to be concerned about dying. The soul of the world awaited him, and he would soon be a part of it. And tomorrow his enemy would also be a part of that soul." You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like religious mumbo jumbo. And again, I am agnostic, which means I do acknowledge and consider all the religions, all the beliefs that people have, and I think that any of it could be possible. But then on the other hand, there are a lot of things about religions which I strongly dislike, and talking about them as if they were part of life, making it normal, making it part of the story, part of the book, is the wrong practice, in my opinion. I think that it should just be separated from the real world. It should be a matter of private beliefs again. Yeah, that's just my understanding. And again, another passage that sounds similar to the Bible, it goes like this: "The wise man understood that this natural world is only an image and a copy of paradise. The existence of this world is simply a guarantee that there exists a world that is perfect. God created the world so that through its visible objects man could understand his spiritual teachings and the marvels of his wisdom." Well, what do you know? So, I don't think I have anything to add about this. This is not a book that should be a bestseller in the 21st century. That is my opinion. Giving people motivation can be done through different ways. As for Paulo, an ordinary adventure book with some wise morale at the end would have been a lot better. Seriously. I feel bad criticizing him, but I think that this is just a weird story set in a weird setting. A story that is trying to teach us something, and yet at the same time it's bombarding us with the concepts of religions. It mentions thieves and wars and conflicts and killing and mean behavior, like the one displayed by the leader of the Oasis, for example. And worst of all, it doesn't comment on those, pointing out that all of that is abnormal. It doesn't do that. Instead, it shows these events as if they were a natural part of life somehow, which is really sad to me. Other than that, like I said, I haven't read anything groundbreaking. I was expecting a lot more from this book. Weird story, won't stay in my mind for long, and it won't do much good in the world. Sorry, Paulo, I wish I had something better to say, honestly. I do appreciate the effort, and you did say some smart things, but I suggest that you read my book now, and see how much you can get from that. Alright, just kidding. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks with something. I don't know what yet, we'll see. Yeah, so alright, see ya, bye.